selection is about that deaf, dumb, and blind boy. 1969's rock opera Tommy featured the song Pinball Wizard, and Pete Townsend called this one of his clumsiest pieces of writing. Despite his critique of the song, it was commercially a huge success and the most recognizable song from Tommy. Here's 1969, The Who, Pinball Wizard.
Okay, let's get started. So much to tell you about Pinball Wizard. There's a lot of neat things to learn in this song, including the intro chords in that sequence. And again, I have no idea why Pete Townsend thinks this is a clumsy piece of writing. There are some really cool bits, including that intro that we'll get to in a moment. The heart and soul of this song, chord-wise, is a moving down the neck through a series of major and sus4 chords. So the B major bar chord, and we'll get to the strumming pattern in a minute, and then we turn that into a B sus4. Like so. That's followed by moving down to an A major bar chord with the A sus, to a G major bar chord, and finally to an F sharp major bar chord. So I'm moving that bar from 7 to 5 to 3 to 2, playing the major chord, so that's the E chord formation, and turning it into a sus4 chord by flattening out my pinky, bending it at the joint to cover the third string. So in the case of the B sus4, I'm covering the third string at the 9th fret. When I move down to play from the A to the A sus4, I make the A sus4 by covering the 7th fret of the third string. I make the G sus4 by covering the 5th fret of the third string. And I make the F sharp sus4 by covering the 4th fret of the third string with my flattened pinky. Now I should tell you, if you choose to, you can play this a couple of different ways. You can just play the chord with this formation without using the bar and just play it. On acoustic, this sounds really good, especially if you leave the high E string open through all the chords. You know, that open E string. I couldn't hear that on the electric original version when I listened to it, the original recording from Tommy. So I've decided to go with bar chords here. It's more comfortable for me. If you choose to play it this way, with this formation, feel free to do that. I'm going to instruct with bar chords. So we play that bar chord. And we'll get to the strumming of that in a minute. But that's the heart and soul of the song, are the major chords in and out of sus chord formations there down the neck. Now, there's so many chords in this song that I'm going to cover the other chords that you need as we go section by section. So we'll get to these ones. For that bit, we'll get to this. We'll get to this. Lots of neat stuff to tell you, including those wonderful intro chords. But the first thing we need to go over is the strumming for the heart and soul. Okay, there's some points of emphasis here. First of all, the very first strum, I want to make sure that I hammer on with my pinky onto that sus. So it's like that. That's the hammer on. Da 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 da. It's all back and forth until we get to those emphasis chords of the final two strums there. Those two. And those two emphasized chords, strums, are always at the end of each pattern, both the sus pattern and then the major pattern. Okay, really really slow now. And it moves down. And that's where it stops dead, right there. All right, that wonderful intro. Let's get to it. I'm going to play through it here for you once. And you'll note that before I play through it, the fourth string for every chord in the intro is picked like that all the way through. So it's like so. So it's a constant little pick down on that fourth string. I'm not going to tell you the names of all these chords because, well, I looked some of them up and I thought, you know what, waste of time probably. This is a B minor. We begin with that open B minor chord as opposed to a bar version. Open B minor chord, and after that I'll show you the changes. Start with a B minor chord, so first finger, F sharp note on the high E string, and then basically an A minor chord moved up. And we're picking again that fourth string, which happens to be on the fourth fret of the fourth string, that finger. The second chord, I'm just going to lift off my index finger, so it's an open E string. Third one, I'm just going to put that finger back down, but I'm going to put it on the second fret of the second string and lift this one off. So I'm going to lift the second finger off, put the first finger down on the second fret of the second string. So the first three chords. Okay, the fourth chord, I'm going to just remove my pinky altogether, and my first, second, and third fingers are now on the second fret, second string, third fret, third string, fourth fret, fourth string. Then I'm going to lift off my third finger and bar with my first finger the second fret of the second and third strings. So I'm just really moving one note, but I can't move that down. I can't move my third finger down, so rather than try to move it down awkwardly, I just bar with this finger instead. Okay, so the first five chords, open up the first string, move it to the second fret of the second string, then that one, then bar. Those are the first five chords. The next one's easy. I just lift off my index finger. So now I've got all I have. The only note I'm fingering here is fourth fret, fourth string with my third finger. And then I take that third finger and slide it up for the next chord up to the fifth fret, and then add my second finger to the fourth fret of the third string. So those last two chords were. That's the last one until I come to, and you notice there that's just an F sharp bar chord, major bar chord, but I strum the first bit. This is a momentum builder. This is dynamics we're going to build into when we start the heart and soul of the song. So okay, so you can see how I single strum, kind of muted for the first bit of it. To get into that. So let's do the intro one more time at super slow speed, And one thing I want you to emphasize as you try it this time is make sure that you ring through those chords, almost string by string. Sometimes I get in the habit of going, and just kind of hammer through the chord. It sounds much nicer if you like that. So that's how we're going to try it. Here we go. All right, let's quickly work through the chord structure following the Shaw plays a mean pinball. And what we want there is so we're working with bar chords here in the A formation. And we're just playing the 5 version of these chords. In other words, this is like a B5 power chord. So when I strum it, I don't strum the 6th, I don't pick through it from the 6th string down, I pick through it from the 5th string down. And then that's just a power A, that's just an A chord. That's the pattern. And that's just a hit the open E string, and then a nice full chord there. And the acoustic guitar, you can hear it on the recording in the background, plays a little more there, but we'll just stick with this. All right, that gives us enough to play through the intro, a verse, one of those that we just learned, and then head into the next verse. We'll take it that far as a playthrough.
I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Solo down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
All right, next is this little bridge section. I've got the overdrive on a little bit on the guitar for this. We're going to cycle through these chords. 3 times. So that's an open E, F sharp power chord, and a B power chord. Let's focus on the strum there. It's 2 down for the first 2 chords, 2 down on the E, 2 strokes down on the F sharp, and then down, up, it's a 4-stroke on the B chord. Then we play that super G chord. 3 strokes like that's good. Then we're going to hit an open D chord. Of course, we've got the overdrive on here. And I'm just picking up. Da, da, da. And as I'm doing that, I'm hammering on and off to make it a sus chord again. And so all I'm doing is taking that 3rd finger and bending it down to cover the G note on the 1st string. Okay, so let's go through that again slowly. Let's do it with lyrics. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
He's a pinball wizard, there has to be a twist. A pinball wizard got such a supple wrist.
All right, well, let's move into the final section of the song. And we've got this little throwaway section, at least I call it throwaway. It's a little question-answer thing there that, how do you think he does it? I don't know. And really there's not much in the way of guitar in that. It's basically strumming through a D chord for 4 bars. The bass player takes over the musicality there, and of course the questioning and answering from the singer. So it's just basically... into the next verse. So just to give you that little bit, just to show you that there isn't really much to do there other than just play through that with the D chord. When we get to the final verse, then we get back into, I'm just going to hit overdrive here, we get back into the last time we got here we played. This time it's just a little bit different. We just kind of pick through the D a little bit. And then, at this point in the song, we get the key change into... Then we get the, which Entwistle plays on stage with the bass. Get that twice. So we're really back to the intro of the song, re-introing the song, but this time in the key of D. So our chord progression now becomes D sus D, C sus C, B flat, sus, B flat, and finishes up on Shaw plays a mean pinball. Okay, and that's the final verse. It's just a full 2 steps up. Instead of starting in B, we start in D and move down in the same sequence of chords, the same progression moving down, end up in A sus A. Now the finish, instead of being, is now up here. We're at D, so it's, and it should go to G there. It's D, C, F, and it should go to G. But they surprise us for the end and they go to B flat. And the song fades there, kind of goes through a little bit of a playing around in B flat. But I did watch a different version of this with The Who live, and here's what they did. Very cool way to end it. Just play this progression to B flat, and then band just finished on A. Very cool way to end the song. All right, let's do a final playthrough here from the key change. 1, 2, 3.
On my favorite table, he can be my best. His disciples lead him in. He just does the best. He's got crazy feather fingers, never seen it fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
All right, fine tuning for Pinball Wizard. Well, it may be sloppy writing for Pete Townsend, but it certainly is memorable writing. And in this song, we get to practice a lot of dynamic strumming, more use of the sus chord than perhaps any other song I've ever heard. It's featured throughout the entire tune. Some really neat power chords, some good harmony vocals. Just all in all, a really cool tune. Pinball Wizard. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.